Caddis Maximus here. This is another new item of Harbor Freight, an even more expensive Braun flashlight. They actually had a couple show up, and one was really expensive, looked like a $60 high CRI or color rendering index rechargeable light, and then they had this Braun interchangeable head. They call it a 3-in-1 flashlight. And it is a Braun, and what it uses is it seems to use the same lower flashlight body as their traditional stick light. And indeed, one of the heads is one of their stick light heads, except for it doesn't have a flashlight in the end. Now, this stick light can end up being like $30 or $40 or something on normal price just by itself. So overall, I think the price is okay on this little unit. It is a pretty nice setup. Inside there, it actually has a nice brass collar, which retains the little bearings, and that's spring-loaded. And so you can just take any head and just push it in, and it automatically locks like an air fitting. And to release it, you can pull it, and it'll come right off just like so. There is an O-ring there just to help prevent it from wanting to spin around too easy and provide a little bit of extra sealing in there. Although they do grease it, and it is nice to see that they grease it so the O-ring doesn't stick, since it's an interchangeable head flashlight and you're going to have the heads floating around. They'll end up getting gritty. Some of the other heads is you get this little detail light, is what I call it, a high access light. It's a little snake light with a tiny little 3mm white LED. And actually, I wish they would have maybe used a 5mm. It's reasonably bright for what it is. It's tucking into a real tight area, maybe down into a spark plug hole or in a vent or something like that. However, I wish it was just a little bit brighter, but it is nice. It does have like a little steel cap that holds the little resistor for the LED, and then a nice wrapped snake, and it is pretty long. It looks like it's about a foot long, so definitely some good length on it. And so this is something that'll be handy in some situations, but not a ton of them. And then it actually has a reasonably bright spotlight. They are advertising 320 lumens out of the spotlight and 421 lumens out of this. They had to get one more lumen than the actual standard Braun stick light. This does indeed have a pretty strong neodymium or rare earth magnet in the bottom. If we take this pretty thick metal block, we can see that the flashlight will hold it. So some people will like that. Some people aren't so fond of really strong magnets, but what it means is that this will actually stand. It's strong enough to where just sheet metal thick enough like on a file cabinet would be able to hold it straight out with any of these heads. It is lithium ion, 2600 milliamp hour, using a protected 18650 cell. It does use dual LEDs, but they're dual color LEDs. This is just like the Braun stick light, has a super bright charging. The red is really easy to see, and then when it changes over the green, because it's dual greens, it is like super bright. It would like light up the corner in the garage. You would definitely know that this thing is charged up. And then it just has a little snap-in rubber cover. If we do take a look at the cell, what is also nice is they're keeping with the tradition of the Braun, where they're using an easily replaceable cell. No soldering or wires. It's just a regular lithium ion cell. It just happens to be one of these cells that's just a little bit longer because it has the protection circuits built into the battery on this unit. And it just has a simple charger in the battery. And once again, there's our 2600 milliamp hour, almost a 10 watt hour battery. It's a no-name brand, but if you can find like premium LGs or Samsungs, and the top end ones of those go up to 3600 milliamp hours. So with the purchase of another battery for like $5 or something, you could increase the lifetime of this 25-30%. Speaking of the lifetime, they're advertising 7 hours on the two high-power lights and some whopping 100 hours on the tiny little pixel light. It did come with didn't come with the charging brick. It came with the micro USB cable. It did come with a halfway decent case. So for the $50, they're giving you the 3-head light, the Harbor Freight Braun regular stick light only has a 2200 milliamp hour battery, so they're giving you a larger battery. And they're giving you this case, which you have to figure out some way of puzzling all the parts into. But I do appreciate that, and that will help them prevent them from getting so dirty. But With a flashlight, many times you'll want to have it out, so most likely you might use the case just to keep the loose parts together. The other thing that I do appreciate is they included a nice hook. So both this articulating stick light has a little loop at the top. This hook will snap onto the body of the flashlight. It's actually pretty darn stiff. Takes a significant amount of effort, to tell you the truth, to get that thing on there. But I kind of like that. I kind of put it on this way where it's across the two flats because it's just a little bit easier with the knurling on the body. But it's not going to accidentally fall out. If you bump it, you're going to have to really hit it pretty hard, even this way. And it has this large, kind of a strange shaped hook. But I like it. It's like a hook that's designed to, once it's on something, it kind of flexes. That it really can get rocked and knocked around and not fall off. And then it has a detent, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it's kind of has this situation where it allows you to hold it at a 45-degree angle, plus 2 additional rare earth magnets, and both of those are actually quite strong. And they will lift the metal block. Anyway, let's do a quick look at the illumination. We'll turn off this light here. And we'll start off with the little pixel light. The button I have to kind of press a little bit hard on this one. I hope the others aren't quite as bad. And it's always low, medium, and high. And I kind of like that it starts off at low instead of high. So this little pixel light will help you see something in a very tight area, but it's pretty dim. Now for the stick light. And if you want to rotate it, you can just rotate it just like so, just like the normal Braun one because of the fitting. And so you can see at low, that pulsating on the screen is because it's turning on and off the LEDs really fast and low power. And then high power, high power, it goes away because it's just continuous delivery. And here we are with the spotlight. This flashlight looks kind of funky because of the handle and then the quick release and then this spotlight head. But this thing is really well focused. I'll do another outside test, but here's a look at it. It really does have a nice deep reflector, and those deep reflectors allow it to get the beam just more confined and more coherent. Let's do another quick outside test, even though it's freezing. Here's the pixel light, or the precision light. It's not too bad. Now for the stick light, low and high. If we really step back here, what am I running into there? Really, that stick light works pretty well. Pretty darn bright, a lot of big flood area light. And of course the spotlight. Even at low, this has pretty good intensity. And on high, yeah, definitely pretty good. So overall, it is spendy for a flashlight kit, but it is kind of an interesting design. Being a Harbor Freight Braun, it's probably a rebrand of somebody else out there, and you'd probably be able to find this for a bit cheaper, but I think it's kind of neat, kind of innovative as far as the way it looks and the fit and finish. That all seems just fine. And the ability that you can easily swap out or get extra lithium-ion batteries to take with you for even additional lifetime, plus already getting 7 hours on either the spotlight or this light. I think it's a little bit less on the stick light, uses a little bit more power, is actually pretty good lifetime. And with the strong magnets, I know a lot of people will like, and this kind of funky hook thing, which I'm not so sure about, but I guess if you kept it around, and since it has magnets, it's easy to stick somewhere and not lose. That this is the kind of thing that some people may actually end up using, and it actually seems like it's somewhat, oh, I didn't even notice that. You can actually rotate this around, and it has detents too. How interesting is that? So it's a fully detent articulating hook. That may actually come in handy. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. Really do. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.